Oh no, I'm clearing the video. Oh, never mind, who cares? I'm like biting my finger and cleaning my teeth. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, here comes everyone. So I'm going to repeat myself just a little in order to get everybody sort of linked in, because it all comes in at different rates. But I am Judge Person. Good morning to the Temple Municipal Court. I'm glad everyone could be here, and we will take everybody's case. I'm going to have to clarify who's here in a moment, because I have a lot of people who did not put who they were, and that's okay. But I need to make sure I have the right files pulled and all that kind of thing. So I'm just going to let you know a few things as we get started on the, there are two dockets that we're running today. One is a pretrial and one is a regular general docket. And I'm going to actually move that general docket forward here in just a moment. And I just want to give kind of a layout of how things move through a municipal court. It tends to help. So for those who are just logging in, good morning. I'm Judge Person. And I do welcome everybody to court this morning. I do want to clarify just who's here, because the way open meetings work, I just need to make sure that the right folks are in and that I know which files to pull. I see a telephone number person beginning, the phone number begins with 254 and ends with 486. Are you able to speak into your telephone?
43674. Yes.
Yeah, hi, what is your name, please?
De la Cruz Delgado, Rhiannon.
Okay, let me find you. Cruz, there it is. Gotcha. Okay. You will have a turn here shortly, as with everyone, but you're not able to see the screen. So I want to go ahead and I want to go ahead and give you some information. Just pay attention and listen, because if you don't, you'll miss when I call your name. I'm actually going to, I'm going to mute you, but when it's your turn, I will ask you to unmute. And so this actually goes for everyone. This actually goes for everyone. So Ms. De La Cruz Delgado, I've got you logged in now, and I'll make sure I have the information that you submitted. I did review it actually already, and I'll be with you shortly. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then let's see. Ivy Diaz is in. Okay, got her. So there's a person named Amanda, and I saw you just a minute ago. Oh, I think you changed. Is it Emma Winkler? Okay, thank you. Gotcha. I recognize your face, so we're good there. And then John's iPhone doesn't seem to be connected yet, so I can't quite get there. There was a person, let's see, named iPhone 12, and I'm just hitting you with an unmute. Gentleman, young man with maybe starting to grow a little mustache. Could you unmute and give me your name, please?
Jesse Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. And let's see, I'll be with you shortly. iPhone user, glasses, light blue t-shirt, hitting you with an unmute. Could you tell me your name?
Robert Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. Great. Let's see. And Samsung, there was a Samsung device, Samsung SM A426U. What is your name, please?
Hello?
Say it again.
Teresa Gomez.
Gomez. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. And let's see. John's iPhone. I don't know if you can hear me. So far, your audio isn't connecting. Unless
Yes,
you-
ma'am. I'm actually on 2 devices.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. What is your full name?
I'm sorry,
What is your full name, John? John?
John Kevin Ming.
Okay, great. I had you logged in. So we're good there.
Okay.
And thank you. That there was a phone, it looks like it got disconnected, so. And Avery Rios, are you still here? You were logged in. Okay. Well, I don't know, maybe the name got corrected. All right. So then there's some basic information I want to let you know. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, under the law, what that is, how that works really, is that you're being accused of something. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you might have heard that phrase. If you give a plea,
Ma'am?
yes,
You didn't,
yeah, I'm
Do-
not, see, I already know Miss Clay who you are, and I have you logged in. So if I go in and confirm that you're really Miss Clay, and I do that 15 times, we're gonna take a lot of time to give the information I already have. It's a common mistake, and I do probably confuse people, but the more I talk, the more I lose people. So I'm trying to limit your the time and stay on the attention scale that I know kind of is out there with everyone. And so thank you. You're here. I'm not concerned about it. If I didn't call your name, you shouldn't be worried. It's when I call your name that I think you're not here. And I'm trying to confirm, yeah, in fact, that person did not show up. So, and then I was just clarifying, you know, people's devices, sometimes they have them with their name, sometimes they don't, and that's all fine. But if somebody's called iPhone and I get 7 of those, I don't really know if I have the right files. So I'm just doing that up front so that if I need to get a staff member to get on it, I can do that. There's just a lot going on for me on this side that you're not, you don't even need to be aware of it. So in fact, the less you're aware of it, that's good. So I'm just going to get back to this and thank you. That accusation, when you give a plea, you've got 3 options for pleading, and that's really your answer or your response to that accusation. And as a judge, it tells me where this case is going so that I can docket it right and make sure that along the way, there are certain rights and duties that we all have. And along the way, I'm confirming. My job is not to find people guilty or find them not guilty. That's a job that I do. I can be on those cases in trial setting, okay? But my job is really to docket the court forward and make sure that it's moving along and that it's moving in the proper way, because everybody has duties and rights. And so I'm here to protect those, right? That's the duty that I have. So when you give a plea, you're telling me this is the direction you're taking it because it is your case. So I always give this intro because I want to make sure that everybody is following, sort of tracking how that works, okay? So if you plead guilty, I think we all kind of recognize you're admitting that offense. You're saying, I did this. If you plead not guilty, you're maintaining the innocence that the law presumes, okay? But you're also doing a second thing. You're asking for a trial process. So we have that meeting today. One of the meetings, I have a scheduling order. We do an online meeting. Some cases that are heading to trial after that. Some are, we're triaging a little bit, trying to use the taxpayer dollars efficiently. So the second meeting is here in the court, and that's really to set a bond on the case, do the trial paperwork that needs to happen. It's a quick meeting, but there are 2 meetings on that docket, but it is quick. So if you've contested the charge by pleading not guilty, there's a process that we follow to make sure that the rights and duties that you have are being followed. And then if you plead no contest, you're not contesting it, you're not admitting it either. You're just moving forward without saying, yes, I did it, or prove that case against me, which are the 2 other pleas, okay? With no contest, you're saying, just go ahead and sentence me. I'm not gonna say yes or no to it, okay? So if you plead guilty or no contest, it means you're not moving toward trial. We're moving to a pleading sentencing process. If you plead not guilty, I don't know if you're going to be sentenced or not. We're just moving that case forward. So towards a trial process. Okay, so I think everybody's probably with me right now. But now I want to tell you, if you plead guilty or no contest, then at that point, normally it goes on your record, you're found guilty, you pay those fines and costs. I don't sentence people to jail in the Class C setting. You can get warrants. If you get into a court order and you don't fulfill what you're supposed to do, you're subject to being arrested, okay, for not following your court order or for not showing up to court. And they effectively work the same way. But normally you're paying those fines and costs. It goes on your record. But listen up, there's 4 ways to gain a dismissal. And I just want to highlight those quickly. I'll just give you a brief rundown of each one and tell you how to get there, okay? And then we're going to move forward, okay? And then I'll break out the pretrial room, the not guilty folks that are on the docket, and the regular folks that I'm working with on their court order or talking to them about sentencing for the first time, okay? Everybody kind of with me? If you're not, make some notes, and when it's your turn, you can ask me questions, okay? But I get a lot of the same questions, and they really tie back into things I should tell you up front. So that's what I'm doing, okay? So 4 ways to gain a dismissal. I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you how they work, and then we're going to move forward. So compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. So compliance dismissals, those are things where offenses that are offenses under the law, but the law specifies here's how you get a dismissal. And I'm doing this because there's a list of things that you wind up having to do to gain that dismissal. I'll give you one hard example, and then I'll move forward because there are about 15 in the code books. And if I describe them all, you're going to glaze over, and maybe we don't even have any of those cases today. So let's say you're stopped, your registration is out. You're given a ticket for no registration. You come to court on time. Before you came to court on time, you went over to what we always call the DMV. You register your vehicle. You pay the fees that you're required to pay over there. You bring that sheet that you peel off your sticker for your car. You bring the sheet, not the sticker, to the court. Shows that you went, got it done, paid what you were supposed to. You come to court on time. Your ticket is probably a $180 ticket, but you can pay a $20 dismissal fee and get that case dismissed, okay? It's not on your record, you saved some money. It's not that a violation didn't take place, it's that there is an allowance in the law. That's an option for you, it's a benefit to you. And I'm gonna tell you if you have something like that, because the law is very specific that I basically walk you through that process, okay? So I'm gonna hit automatic look-see on that, but if you wanna ask me questions about it, if you think I'm missing something when I'm talking to you, definitely let me know, okay? Second option is if you have a moving violation. In the state of Texas, we have a driver safety course option program. Not every state does, although most do. And again, you've got certain requirements it's a list of things that you need to do, conditions that you've got to meet to qualify to be in that program and then to successfully complete it. Now let's talk a little bit about the money situation over here. And money is a thing people don't like to talk about, but you're in luck because I do it every day. So every ticket has a court cost and a fine, okay? And if you come to the window and say, what does this ticket cost? You get a fine amount. That's called a window fine, okay? It can actually be higher. It can actually be lower. It's a window fine, but if you just want to pay and go, that's what that is, okay? In the driver safety course option, you have to pay the court costs. The fine goes on hold. If you get your course and your record turned in on time in that program, your case is dismissed, and that fine that was on hold, I waive it for successful completion of the driver safety course program. We do that because the goal is really a public safety goal. And, it's not necessarily a very exciting course. However, what we know from statistics is that if people complete that course a certain amount of times, like every 12 months, that's what the state law provides, you drive a little bit better for that period of time. Okay, so it's incentivized, and it is cheaper. If you want to get down to the brass nuts, it's cheaper to pay the court costs and the class and the driving record together than it is to pay the whole ticket and get a conviction. Only if you do it right, you get the case dismissed. And again, that's just a traffic safety reason, okay? So again, what you can expect from me as the judge of the court is, again, the law is pretty specific about how this sort of flies through the system. I look automatically and talk to you about that option if you appear to be qualified. And if I can get you qualified for either of these first two things and you want to do them, then we do that. If I can't get you qualified, some hills are not overcomable. Okay, so I'll do what I can do there. Definitely ask me questions if you are confused about it or want to know more. Okay. All right, the third option, and listen up, this one's different because I do not walk you through this one. This is called a deferred disposition. With a deferred disposition, basically you're in what people often think of it as probation. It's really not legally probation, but it's a period of good behavior time. There will be conditions listed in a document, piece of paper. It's going to be a list of things that tell you what you can do to gain a dismissal of the charge. Okay. If you successfully do the things listed, your case gets dismissed. If you don't, you're subject to being convicted. Okay. Here's the deal, and listen carefully. If you've already glazed over, listen back up. Okay. Deferred disposition in a Class C court is something you are legally allowed to ask the judge to do without necessarily going through the pretrial process. You can also do it through the pretrial process. You can ask the judge directly on a plea of guilty or no contest. And I'm required by law, and I do this, to always take that seriously and consider that request. Now, the question people always wonder, and I think I wondered this before I became a lawyer, is what do I say? Okay, so here's the magic phrasing. No contest or guilty, I'd like a deferred. It's that simple, okay? You can ask the prosecutor as well. If you're on the pretrial docket, you haven't waived that option, okay? But if you're on my docket, you've entered a plea of guilty or no contest, you can request a deferred directly from the judge as well, okay? All right, so that's important because if you have, like, a lawyer might not know that because at a higher level court, where we tend to see more lawyer activity, a higher level court, you can't ask the judge, even on a plea of guilty or no contest, without the prosecutor agreeing to that request. So it's a little bit different here. So even if you've got like a best buddy from high school or whatever, now they're a judge, now they're a lawyer, you ask them, they might give you information based on they're used to a different court. So I just say that because when I first came to practice in this court, I came from federal and felony court, and it was different here. Okay, so that's the third way to gain a dismissal. And remember, at the beginning of this monologue, I said there are four. Okay, so the fourth one is called teen court. You've got to be enrolled in school or a GED program to qualify for that one, high school or the equivalent, and we can consider teen court. It looks a lot like a deferred in the sense that there'll be things to do, but we handle it slightly differently because you're a student, okay? And I don't need to go into all the details because I've got a few of those folks this morning, and we'll walk through it with you at that time, okay? All right, if I've triggered questions, when it's your turn, definitely make the request of me, ask me questions. You won't offend me, I'll tell you, I cannot give you legal advice, okay? But I can tell you how things move through a court, which I just did, okay? And then I can talk to you about specific questions you have. If you're asking me something that triggers legal advice, then I will say, hey, you can have a reset to meet with an attorney of your choice, come back with or without an attorney, but we need to get your answer and I'm not the party to give it to you. That leads me to tell you, and as I talk to you, I'm setting up a room. So we have a pretrial docket meeting today, and folks who've pleaded not guilty are here for that docket. And that docket is partly a meeting away from the courtroom. So if you were in the courtroom, you'd actually be splitting off into a different room for that meeting. That's exactly what we're going to do here, except you get to be at home if you want to, so I think it's convenient and I like it, but there's limits to this format. But what I'll tell you is Ryan Matson is the prosecutor. Mr. Matson, there he's given a wave. Everybody get a good look at him. He will meet with you in that pretrial room. He represents the state of Texas. That means that he represents the party that filed the suit, the party that filed the charge. So he's not your lawyer. He's not even my lawyer. Okay. He's independent. He represents the state through the city attorney's office. Sometimes people call him a DA. It is like a DA. It's the same role. Okay. But instead of answering to the district attorney, he answers to the city attorney. And that's the only difference. So, Mr. Matson, we have Matthew Evan on your docket, and he's here. Mr. Evan, I'm going to go ahead and move you to that room. You might want to unmute and stay on screen. Once you're done with that discussion, you're going to come back over to this meeting because we need to kind of have some parting comments within the court setting. So I'll see you shortly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. There you go. Okay. And then I'm moving forward. And what you don't know is that I was actually watching while everybody was logging in, and I was reviewing everybody's files. I had a lot of last minute information that came in today that I needed to sort out. And so I wound up starting just a tad late. I do apologize for that. But there were file pieces coming in at me on things that had not been previously reviewed. And so, but my point is I was noticing who logged in and when they logged in. So everybody's really in the order like you would be in the courtroom. I take people as they show up. So I'm starting with Marisol Bautista, but I'm going to ask you to unmute. And also, Miss Bautista, can you start the video? You unmuted. Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi, can you get on the video?
It's not letting me turn on my camera.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. Who is your parent?
I have my dad with me.
Right. And what's his name?
Filemon Bautista Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Ms. Bautista. Marisol, I did receive the note you wrote to the court. I did review everything that you submitted. I think that what I'm inclined to do, and we're kind of starting to run out of time on teen court, I can reset one time this hearing, and I can reset it to May 5th. And what I'm going to do, I know what I'm seeing is that you can't get the permit. So I have an essay that I can do with you instead that you would write. And you're going to have to come over and pick up the assignment.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And you're going to write it. You can actually handwrite it or type it. I don't have an opinion about that. I have directions for how to type it because that's the one that people need some direction on. If you handwrite it, that's acceptable. It's a 3-page essay, and the topic, we'll have it here for you. When can we look for you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Come up and pick up your assignment. When can you get here this morning?
I can actually get there right now after this.
Okay. It's a substitute. Do you get what we're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because you can't get what we set up to do. We didn't know, you didn't know when we set it up that we were setting you up basically for something that was impossible. So
Yes,
I'm a big fan of not setting people up to fail. Okay. I want you to successfully complete your court order because that is the job I have. So with that said, you can't do what you promised to do, and there's an actual reason, and you've told me, and we've got it. I'm giving you a different thing to do to get your teen court finished. But you're going to have an essay, which I will accept until May 5th. And we're going to reschedule this meeting. You can log in on this meeting date, turn in everything beforehand like you did before. You can email it in or you can bring it by. I'll review it, and then I'll tell you on May 5th if I'm doing the teen court dismissal.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
And Dad, Mr. Bautista, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. We will see you up here shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, moving forward. My next person is Meredith Piercy. Miss Piercy, I saw you earlier. I'm
Hello.
pretty well. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. So, Miss Piercy, and this is your mom, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all are both welcome. I'm glad your mom is here because it is required by law. And you're on time to court. I did get your information from the school. It's like you're a very good student. I did not receive maybe a plea, so let me walk you through that. You're being accused of speeding on February 28th, 2022. And if you just paid that, it is $259. Do you understand your options as to the offense of pleading guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. How are you pleading to the charge?
No contest.
Okay. And then I assume from the information, the request is for teen court, and I'll grant that request. And with teen court, there's a $20 fee, and that's a cash fee for teen court. And then your fine goes on hold, the $259, and we give you some things to do that I think will help me not see you again in the court setting and not read about you as a statistic. Okay. And, if you get that done, then you get your case dismissed and your fine waived. Can you pay the $20 fee today? You're in Houston. Actually, she can't pay that online, right?
We'll be there on Good Friday. We will.
Okay, we're gonna make it work, but I've got to get some information from, you're in Houston, is that right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna have the clerk tell me how they're gonna make that work. Catch it. Okay, all right. There's an online payment fee that you'll have to wind up paying to do that. But I'll catch it and we'll receipt it as teen court. Can you pay that today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and yes,
And I just wanted to confirm, you said teen court, because of her age, is very similar to deferred dispensation for a teenager.
yes, it is. It's like, that's well put. It's a deferred for a teenager.
Thank you.
But it's really deferred for a high school student. So then I would have a class due May 5th, a driver safety course. You can take an online course, okay? And so all of this you can do and email us the certificate of completion. Bear in mind that they take 4 to 10 days to get that to you, and you've got a 30-day deadline. The reason that I do that with teen court is the driving habit. We want to smarten up that driving habit as fast as possible. So the sooner the better. If you get it turned in on time, which is May 5th, then I will dismiss the charge.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll email all of this to you. And so the next question is, can you print it, sign it, and email it back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that should be coming your way sometime this morning. If you don't receive it, call the clerk and ask what happened or email the clerk. But calling and quick checking. And then as I tell everybody, and I'm just going to say this to everyone now, if you send something by email or fax to us, call and check and make sure we received it. Okay. Because the thing is, the duty is yours to get it to us. And it's not our duty to make sure that it got through. And we don't know that you've sent something unless we get it, and technology, it's great when it works. But as you know, it's not perfect. And we aren't perfect either. But technology can really fail at very inopportune moments. And so call and check on things. Make sure that you're not getting messed up with deadlines and due dates, because they are court orders and they are enforceable. And the last thing I want to do is do something not happy, adverse to someone who actually did what they were supposed to do, but somehow there's a disconnect. So always connect and make sure, okay? Now, Ms. Piercy, as far as going online to do payment, we have an online payment system, and it's not through the Zoom. It is actually on the court's website. So you'll go to the Temple Municipal Court, Temple, Texas Municipal Court, and when you open the court page, there's a pay online option right there. Okay?
Mhm.
You run into problems, you can always call the clerk's office and get assistance with that. Okay.
So you get a link, or how do I just go and pay $20 or?
Yes, she pays the $20 fee. You get the class turned in on time. Today, I need the fee and the court order back with both of your signatures on it.
Okay,
And then get your class turned in on time and you're good to go. I dismiss the charge. I waive the balance.
okay.
Thank you.
Do we stay on this call or get off now that we're done?
You can go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mattson, I know that you were talking with Matthew Evan, who I think I saw pop back in. Yes, Mr. Evan, if you could unmute as well. And then let's just talk for a moment. Where are we with regard to these charges? Mr. Mattson, I'll ask you first. Are we heading to resolution? Are we heading to trial?
We are heading towards dismissal, Your Honor. Mr. Evan has already provided proof of insurance to the court, and he was cited for no registration.
Yes.
But he had purchased the car that day and had already gotten it inspected, and he
Okay.
provided the proof of inspection to the court. So he basically got cited for it on the way to get the sticker for registration. So I'll be dismissing that as well.
The vehicle has been registered?
He's already sold it, Your Honor.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you're doing a prosecutorial dismissal, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Using discretion, okay. And then on the insurance charge, it's insurance at the time of the stop?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll look for that in the file. If I've got it, this is Matthew Evans on the insurance case. And on the insurance case, if we had, they put the title in there. Let's see the insurance itself. Then I can do the dismissal directly without you having to do that one. And that way you can move forward. Because your next person, and I realize there are a few cases, the Rosenbaum case, and I saw Alan Rosenbaum. I made an assumption that was, yeah, Joby Allen, gotcha. And Joby Allen, or Mr. Rosenbaum, just one second. On this other case, does it meet requirements for dismissal? Effective date. Okay. Assuming it checks out. Right. It's good. Oh, it says all owned vehicles. I think he says. I think he's got like a sales business. It's an LLC. So that is dismissible. I can do that. Okay. All right. So regarding Mr. Evans, Mr. Evans.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know I'm just chattering away, but here's the net effect of it. Okay. Mr. Mattson will send over a dismissal on the registration charge. We're going to do a dismissal. And then looking in the court's file on the contested charge, I now see, now that I can look at it, insurance information that allows a dismissal there as well. We will then email those to you as soon as we have them both. We will email them over. Mr. Mattson's going to send me his shortly, and the court is doing the insurance one. And then we will email those to you at the email that we used to set up the meeting today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll get that to you soon.
All right, thank you.
We're good to go. And Mr. Metzen, you and Mr. Rosenbaum forward. I had gotten word, just kind of a short note for both of you. I've gotten word that maybe potentially there are some newer charges that are heading over. I also got word that one option that is being considered is a deferred disposition. And I'm willing to entertain all of that Mr. Mattson, and I'm not trying to step on your toes or suggest to you what you need to do. I would not do that. I will take whatever you and Mr. Rosenbaum bring at me, including a request for trial. But what I did want to say, not so much on this case, but just overall, if you've got a case like that, Mr. Mattson is not a new lawyer, but he's new to the Temple Court. And Mr. Mattson, what I would say is if you've got some things pending and you know some things are heading to us that the court does not yet have or see, you have an option to, when those come in, put those in kind of an abeyance mode, if you wish, and look at the outcome of a deferred and see, what might happen, what you might do, whether that's, doing another deferred. But in other words, I know that our deferreds automatically say, if you get a new charge, you've basically blown your deferred. You can word it in a way that it doesn't do that. And sort of alert the court to know that you have either an agreement, intentions on that incoming charge. And that's more like along the lines of what we sometimes refer to as a desktop issue, a desktop deferral, a desktop agreement. Or you can say those are going to come on in and we're going to deal with those too when they get here. So you have free reign on that, you and Mr. Rosenbaum, to think about those cases in connection with these cases. If you want to talk to me about that, you can. It's not, we don't have to delay and keep having court dates unless we need them, and then we'll do them. Okay. So I just wanted to give those words to y'all because I don't know a lot about this case, but I know that there potentially are other cases that could be filed or are filed. I'm not actually really clear on that. And I just wanted to alert y'all that we don't have to pretend that's not happening. We can address them if we want, depending on the parties. Parties can agree to a lot of things. So if y'all give me an agreement that looks at those things, that's fine. So enough said, I'm going to let y'all go on into a meeting, and I'll look forward to hearing from y'all when we get back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, both of you, Mr. Rosenbaum, Mr. Mattson. Okay, and so I'm moving forward on my docket, my next person, and I'll say the first name incorrectly, but Isael, Romaldo, if you can unmute. And
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's see, you're 19. I had a prior case and it's in a payment plan. I haven't gotten to check one thing real quickly. That's in a payment plan. Is it a 30-day or is it on payments? And if so, is he hitting the mark? In other words, I want to see how you're doing with the current court order. Okay, and is there a fee? Oh, it doesn't get added until then? Okay, so just you have a balance of 281 that is due April 15th, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, now on your no driver's license charge, I did get a request somehow that you wanted to get your license. At least there's a note, but I don't see it where that note came from. It might have been a message left or an email. But what I want to know is, are you trying to get your license? And if so, how quickly can you do that?
I already have my permit certificate. I already had printed it out. I just gotta take it up there with my birth certificate and get it printed out. And then I'm supposed to do it like a third party course right here on South First, I believe.
Right. What I'm listening for that I'm not hearing yet is, do you have an appointment with DPS?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay, those can be difficult to get very quickly. That's just become, that seems like a permanent change. You know, COVID happened and they weren't meeting with people, and then now they are, but they are anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 months out. And you don't have to stay local with DPS. You don't have to go to your local DPS to do your driving test. You can go anywhere in the state. Just want to put that bug in your ear, because some offices could be busier and some offices are very busy. And we are on the I-35 corridor, and so we're quite busy. So you can look around, but here's the thing. Case has been pending since February. We are about to pass the 2-month mark. And I can give you a little time, but I can't give you a lot of time, okay? From today, I can give you 30 days. What you're gonna have to do is either bring your license to the court. Is he qualified for dismissal otherwise? I'm gonna double check and see. I've got some dismissal options that are legal, they're allowable, but they're not printed in the code books. We have some local agreements that we always look and see if you're qualified for. We check that with people, and I'm just gonna check and see if it's worth it. Oh, I can't read it when you do that, but if it's worth it. Oh, I see, yeah. That would be important to note. Insurance. Okay, 18 or they get longer. He's not unresolved, eligible. Yeah, I think that we can give you some time. Let's see, what's the time commitment on this? 90 days, okay. All right, I can give you until June 7th. Okay. But if you get more tickets because you continue to drive without a license, then it's off the table, the dismissal. If you have any more criminal charges, it's off the table. And most importantly, if I reschedule to June 7th and you don't give me the permit by that date or log into your meeting on that date, then you've blown it. Do you get me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're gonna have to come in and sign for an extension. Or I can email it to you if you can print it, sign it, and email it back.
I would have to go through right now.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is I need it today. I can send it, you can print it, sign it, and email it back, or you could come to the court to sign it.
I can go to the court after this call, because I actually have to go into work.
You're gonna come in on your way to work today?
Yes.
Okay. What time should we look for you?
I can go after this call.
What time?
I mean, I can go after this call because I don't have a standard time to go into work. I just told them I was going to be late because I had.
Okay, and you can also get a work excuse as well. Just make sure you lawfully drive. And we will have everything at the front desk for you, and we will get you copies. You're good to go. We'll see you at the front desk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm moving forward with my next charge or case, and that's going to be Jasmine Thompson. If you can unmute, and I would ask you to get onto video, please.
Good morning.
Ms. Thompson, good morning. How are you right now?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I
Good.
did receive all the information and some of it came in this morning. I did read it.
Okay.
And so right now you don't have income. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you've had a lot of health trouble, and I think your spouse maybe did too. I don't recall. And I did note that you have like 4 small children in the home as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
Right, so you have just a lot going on, and then a lot of issues with health. And so what I'm going to ask you is, here's what I can do. You are indigent, which I am deeming you to be right now, and that could be temporary. And I never wish poorly on anyone, but I just need to deal with reality. Right now, what that means is that I have determined that you have an inability to make payment, okay?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
next thing then that I do is consider whether someone can do community service to discharge their fines and costs. Here, I'm a little bit conflicted. I kind of think you can't, okay? So what I normally do is I order the community service due. It would be 14 hours. It would be due by June 7th, 22. However, it's subject to your doctor approving you to do it. And I kind of think your doctor's going to say, not a good idea right now for you, because you've got really, without getting into your personal life more than you probably want, there are organ issues that I know you're going to deal with. So
Yes, ma'am.
if I get a note from your doctor on or before your community service due date, I can look at whether I either give you more time or waive your community service altogether based on that note.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and treat it like community service right now, knowing that potentially it's a little bit deeper. And I've made a note even to check for that doctor note, but your duty is to either give me your hours or give me your note, excuse me. So we can email everything to you.
Okay.
You can print and sign one of the sheets on community service and just email it back to us, a photo of it or a scan. And then just be mindful of the due date.
Okay.
If I get it tomorrow, that's fine. If I get it next month, that's fine. I need it by June 7th.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you are good to go, and the best of luck to you on everything.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. So moving along, Mr. Taplin, I did see you on screen earlier. I'm going to ask you to unmute and also to get on screen. I'm pulling your file. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. How are you this morning, Mr. Taplin?
I'm pretty good.
Great. Glad to hear that. I did look at everything. I had a quick question. I have KPS warrants. It's the type of warrant for you. And, I need to ask you, you listed your girlfriend's employment and her income, but I'm not really clear that that's a combined home and money available, or if that is just, like you don't always live with that person. I don't know if you live there.
Yeah, I don't. So
Okay, so I kind of looked at it as that was not your income. And therefore I'm moving this forward. Otherwise I've got to get her bills in and get a statement from her. And it did not look like that was actually what was happening here.
yeah.
And so I'm going to move this forward. I have deemed therefore that you are indigent and that I could order community service for the balances. And let me get you a number on what that would look like. That would turn into 41 hours of community service. And that we're going to start with a due date of June 7th. You can do community service in this community or your community, as long as it's in the state of Texas, as long as it is a non-profit. Listen up, that tends to be where people really get crossed out. They are trying to do it at some friend's work or somebody they know or a place of business. I've even had people feel like maybe they were trying to get a job at a place, so they volunteered to work for free. If you're not at a nonprofit, I can't count it, okay?
Okay.
So just, and everything I'm gonna give you in writing tells you everything I'm telling you right now, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna send you, I need to see, can we get a signature from you today?
Yes, ma'am.
Print it, sign it, send it back. That's a waiver that says if you work within the city of Temple for city services, and they are one of the providers on the list. They have a waiver form. I like,
Okay.
you don't have to work there, but I do like keeping them on my list because they provide a lot of options for the citizens in the community. So you sign that document, then there will be a list of places that you can choose from, some written directions for the things I do and don't allow. And on the very top, a timesheet that you have to sign, they have to sign. I need to know where you went because I'm going to confirm that you did it. I'm going to confirm the document, okay? And
Okay.
that it is a nonprofit. If I
Okay.
get it all in by the 7th of June, the 41 hours, then I clear out your case. If I don't receive it, I need whatever you've gotten done on this matter, any hours you've done, a written request for more time. And let me know how long you think it might take you. On or before that date, either get the hours or a request for an extension. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll have it done.
You have any questions at this time?
No, ma'am. Can I just come up there and get it, all them papers that you just said?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
actually the easiest way to go about it. So I'm gonna say then that we're doing community service. I'll recall your warrants, subject to getting this done and getting it fulfilled, okay?
Okay.
All right, any further questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Taplin. Stay well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I am moving forward with Stephanie Clay. And Miss Clay, I see you there. Definitely see you. And go ahead and unmute. And I'm not trying to embarrass you by asking the question earlier.
that's
You just asked a question that lots of people have. So never fear on asking questions, anyone. You're probably just asking something that everyone wants to ask, okay? And let me go ahead then, Miss Clay, and just kind of review where I think we are, okay? And
Yes,
then I'll
ma'am.
see if we're on the same page, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna walk through these. I received pleas and requests on them. So let me walk you through them. I have an older case that has a warrant called a KPS pro fine. The KPS is technically for not completing your fines. That can be because we did community service and you didn't do it, or there was a payment plan that didn't get done.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't really know. But what I can tell you is that we can roll that into everything else that we're looking at today. Then I have 3 cases that are what we call open pleas. What that means, open, is that you have a plea on those cases. You did send in pleas. I have not yet accepted them. And I'm going to do that in just a quick moment. I do want to move the prosecutors. I'm going to put you on a quick hold. Just listen to the
Okay.
next thing. But you're still in the mix of what we're doing. But I like to keep the prosecutor moving because, quite honestly, that docket just takes a little longer than mine.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Your Honor, actually, Mr. Rosenbaum was disconnected from the breakout room. Do you think you could send him back over?
he's already, well, he logged out and logged back in, and he's already logged back in, and I see him, but I can't hear him, and the video says it's on. There it is, and I just need to ask him to unmute. So thank you. And I think once he unmutes, I think we're good. So, and I didn't really look at much here. Give me a second. Okay, and so we had multiple cases at this point, 5 pending, and I just want to check. I think they're all pending. And Mr. Rosenbaum, you can unmute too. You're not silenced, I promise. And so, Mr. Matson, where are we heading with these cases? Are we heading to some sort of resolution? Are we heading to trial?
Well, we were in the middle of discussing whether or not deferral or some other type of agreement was the most appropriate for the situation, and Mr. Rosenbaum was disconnected from the room.
That's what you were telling me. Okay, cool. Go back in there.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
You know what, technology, like I said, we like it, we use it, as long as it serves us, okay? So let me start back over.
Thank you.
There you go. Mr. Matson, you should be able to link back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, of course, for both of you. And Ms. Clay, we're just back on with you, ma'am. And where I was, I do remember, of course, that we were walking through. This is a stop from September 13th of 2018. And the cases have gone to warrant just for, we did not hear from you at the point of time that we needed to.
Yes, ma'am.
And just so that you know, just for future reference, because we're gonna do problem solving on what happened. But if you get a ticket, and this is for everybody's information, if you get a ticket, there's always a court date on that ticket. And if you miss that court date, you're subject to arrest and you're subject to a charge called violating the promise to appear, not coming to court on time. And that did happen in this case. So there was a stop for speeding, and the fines and costs are $440, $460. Again, it's just gone up because warrant fees and non-appearance fees got added. Most of those are state law requirements that I can't control. They are what they are. And then also, I received a plea of no contest to that charge. And then there was a driving while license invalid charge. And that again was from the same stop, the license not being valid at the time of that stop back in 2018. The fines and costs are $456.17. I did receive a no contest plea on that charge as well. And then there was a violating the promise to appear charge, that not coming to court charge. It has fines and costs of $431.20, and I received a no contest plea on that charge. I also received a request for deferred disposition on all three charges, and income information that included that you are a baker at Becky's and
Yes.
that you're paid weekly. They're also receiving food stamps and a daughter living at home with you. And
Yes.
that you are the only income to the home. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
Okay. And then I did kind of looked a little further in, and the bills, frankly, your bills are quite low, especially your electric bill. I would love an electric bill that low. Are you receiving any assistance for your electric bill? Or is it always that low? Or does it go up and down and maybe it gets lower because of gas? I couldn't really tell.
It just goes up and down. I try to not run my big air and just use my ceiling fan or a fan, because I have had bills that have been 3 something,
Okay.
400, because in the summer sometimes it gets really hot, and so I've just tried to find ways to
Yeah.
not.
That happens in winter too for folks who don't have gas. So, and then I wondered also, you gave me on your electric bill, you gave me a range, and I think you had the water bill, a range on that water bill, and then a cell phone. I would assume you and your daughter have cell phones, telephones, service, service of whatever kind. And were there any bills that were not listed in March that you pay? There's a cable bill, there are the standard bills, phone, insurance, food, gas. What other bills? Do you have any medical bills that you're paying, or things like that you're in payment plans for?
No, I have bills that are due. I have medical bills that are due, but I haven't set up anything for them yet, just because when I pay for all this stuff, I'm kind of just in a current, not I just don't have a lot left over,
Right.
So
They do payment plans at Scott White. They have an indigent program. You might reach out to them.
Okay.
You can call their billing department or their customer service and talk to someone there. So what I would say is, I just getting all the new information, I can order community service. Now, I am willing to entertain the request for a deferred, even though the case went to warrant. I'm always open to any of the options available. Here's the thing though, on the deferred, on the driving charge, I think I have a hold on your license. Do you have a valid license in your possession now?
No, not right.
Okay, so I'm willing to do the deferred. It's a bit more paperwork. It's not a problem for me at all. But I need you to understand there's going to be a little bit more for you to do than a traditional setting. And part of it is going to be, I need to get your community service hours done, at least part of them, fairly quickly, so that I can release your license, so that I can hope that you get a license, because honestly, the deferred is not necessarily that helpful on the license charges. The state may or may not take action against that, okay?
Right.
Am I the only hold on your license, or are there other courts with holds?
I believe only one, as far as when I pulled up, my
website, do that.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And so all 4 cases together, total, it turns into 80 hours. What I'm gonna do is defer on the speeding and the license charge. The other 2 cases are just gonna be in that community service order. So it's a total of 80, okay? But we've got 20 on the deferred order, okay? If I can get those 20 quickly, that's great.
Okay.
We have a deadline of June 7th. And I want you to see how many you can get done. I'm just making notes. Because here's the thing, I've got to try to get those hours in order to release the license hold.
Yes.
I want you to get your license as part of my deferred. That's going to be what I require of you.
Yes, ma'am.
And the deferred will end October 6th, and that means no tickets during that time. Your hours turned in on time, and your license in on time. I would like the license by August 9th. And that way, at the end of the deferred, I know you're not subject to being ticketed anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, it could be that you run into a hiccup, and here's the hiccup. If your license is suspended now, and you've got cases even on a deferred, when I report that deferred to the state, they might further suspend your license.
Okay.
If they do that, even though I've released it, if they do that, I don't have a way to, I am not DPS. I can't order DPS to do very many things. There's like very limited times I can tell them something. So if they do what they do and it affects what we're doing here, then you're going to be needing to get an occupational license.
Okay.
So I've got a packet for you for your occupational license. And my thing now is I'm going to need you to come in to do your paperwork because I've got a big mountain of paperwork to give you.
Okay.
Can you lawfully get here today?
Yes, I can get up there.
Okay. Around what time should we look for you?
Well, when I can come that way.
Okay. All right. I will let you go. We will work in that direction. And hopefully we just get you through the deferred. But if you wind up, it looks like you're, and I'm going to go off screen for a minute because I'm getting some paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like to me that you understand how to get online and figure all that stuff out.
Yes.
Right? So when you see the impact of this deferred on your record, if they say now you're suspended for a year or something like that, and it's something that now you know you can't get your license by August 9th, don't delay. There's a second packet in here, in your packet of stuff. And it's just a walkthrough for where to go and how to get your occupational.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to let you go. We'll see you at the front counter here shortly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm just moving forward then. Let me get the next person is Rhiannon De La Cruz Delgado. Are you still here? Yes, I see you. Can you unmute and get on screen? Ms. De La Cruz Delgado?
Yes.
Hi. Are you on?
Okay, sorry.
Remember now that you're on the telephone. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I did review everything that you sent in, okay? We do have warrants that we can work towards getting resolved, okay? And this is an older case from 2017, and there's a warrant for not completing your court order. And the request I had from you is you would like a reduction in a payment plan. However, I want to let you know you were qualified to do community service instead.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You didn't, you're okay.
They ordered that before, but there's no way I can do community service.
Okay, what's the issue?
More now. Now the issue is I have a 7-month-old baby, and it's just me. Like I'm the only I'm a single mom with the 3 kids, and there's nobody like to leave the baby with to even try doing community service as of now.
Okay, I see.
Before it was just when they did it before, it was more my mental issues, because I wasn't taking my head medicine for my anxiety and everything. So that's what it was more before the first time they did it. But now I'm on my medicines, but now I have the baby and I don't have anybody to take care of the baby.
I got it. I'm making some notes. That's why I'm getting quiet. Hold on just a moment. So right now you do not have any child care?
No. Like I don't have anything. Like it's just me and the 3 kids.
Okay.
The older ones go to school, but the baby's just 7 months.
Okay. And just, I'm not trying to be nosy. Do you actually receive the child support? Is it coming in?
Yes. The child support is coming in, and that's just for the 2 older children. The other child doesn't receive anything.
Okay.
His father got deported.
Okay.
So yeah, the older, like my ex-husband, he does pay, and he is pretty much, it is pretty much coming in right. The only time it doesn't is like in November and December.
Okay, and then he gets caught up. Okay, but I do see that is really the only income that you have at this time. It is not enough to make payment. Yeah, I do not think that it is enough to make payments, and therefore I am ordering a waiver of your funds and costs at this time.
Okay.
Okay, so actually your warrants will go off today. Any holds on the license will be released. That takes about 30 days to clear with the state. The warrants will clear immediately, and the balance will be zeroed out.
Okay. Is there anything that I need to do on my side?
No, there is not.
Okay.
And just making more notes. Hold on. Okay. All right, I'm going to recall your warrants. I'm going to waive your fines and costs. That should be effective today.
Okay.
Thank you. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I need to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back. I need a bathroom break. Excuse me. Moving forward, Ivy Diaz, can we get you on screen and off of mute, please? Good morning.
Good morning. Let me sit down.
Of course. Oh, I had a question on this Diaz's case. Is this a show cause? Or has one been set? Okay, for what date? For that date? I know, it makes me crazy that. Can we see it or do we? Oh, sure, yeah. Okay, I needed a quick review because we've been on a deferred disposition and I'm just trying to see the situation. Okay, and so, community service was due as a condition of the deferred. It was all due by February 14th. And I don't think we got any of it. Let me just double check. 22 hours. Originally, I had a due date of January 5th. And then I think I gave you an extension to February 14th. And let's see, I did not receive anything on that. That was a condition of your deferred. I guess I'm wondering why we didn't get it done.
I didn't have a chance to get it done because I started working back in November. And then just most recently in January, my parents, I was staying with them and they'd split. Me, my mother, and my siblings are the only ones that are here because we're all originally from South Texas.
Yeah.
But I have this, ongoing situation. And then what I'm working for now, I actually went to school for. So it wasn't an option for me to get up and leave with her. It was that my only option was to move out and get my own place and figure it out. So that's basically where I'm at right now. In between all that, I just wasn't able to get it done. It's exhausting, it's tiring. I've always been home with my parents, and having them split after being together for over 15 years it's just hard. So that's pretty much the only main reason. My father did help me though, get me insurance. So I have that, and the only thing I need to take care of now is the registration and obviously the community service.
So where are you working now? Let's back up.
I currently work at McLean's Pediatric Clinic in Belton.
Okay. And what's your position there?
I'm a certified medical assistant.
Okay. And so I did receive that information. And you're paid every 2 weeks there?
Yes, I am.
And are you the only income to your current home?
Yes, I am.
Any children?
No, ma'am, no kids, luckily.
Yeah, it's definitely extra.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I even gone as far as to just donating plasma for anything for money. I even considered getting a second job. It's actually really hard. I never thought it was going to be. I feel like growing up, my parents made it look so easy, but I really don't.
Question that I have for you. Okay, the bills that you gave me and listed, are those they're averages. Are those pretty accurate?
Well, now that I have started paying, monthly regularly, they probably are a little less than what I did. this was just like what I assumed, you know, what I seen my parents pay for a 4-bedroom, but it's only me, and I mean, ranging anywhere from like $60 to $120 maybe.
For what?
So my most expensive is obviously the electricity, and then I do pay gas. And I also have like the Wi-Fi and the rent and the trash, the water.
What was your most recent bill for electric?
For my electric, I would say it's 98.
Okay, and your gas bill?
Since it's new, I had a deposit fee, so it was about $116.
Okay, but that was a $50 deposit was in there.
It was a $90 deposit, I think,
So you're gonna run about $30 to $50 a month. Your water
for my
bill-
gas.
What was your most recent water bill?
My water bill was $60.
And what is your phone bill?
My phone bill is about 120.
Okay, and then what do you think you're spending in fuel costs to get to and from work and the grocery store, et cetera?
I would say about 40 every 5 days.
And then you said your dad paid your insurance,
Yes,
and but what's your monthly insurance bill?
it's $100.
And you're paying that, or he's gonna pay that?
I pay him and then he pays it.
Okay, what's your your cable bill? Internet.
Like 115.
Okay. What other bills do you have? Do you have a car payment?
No, I do not have a car payment.
Okay, good. All right, give me a moment. Let me reconfigure. Do you receive food stamps?
No, I do not.
Okay, what I can do is go ahead and the deferred, we're not going to be able to stay on that deferred. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and enter a conviction on that, which will give us some flexibility. And then I'm going to be able to set you up on a payment plan of $25 a month, I think was your request.
Okay.
But I do need to get your signature. And when do you get paid? What day of the week?
Thursdays.
Were you paid last week or are you getting paid this week?
I was paid last week.
Okay, so your next payment date, I need a signature today on this document. I can email it to you and you can send it back signed. It needs to be a legal signature. But we can start on April 14th. And then what it's going to do is be $25 that day. And then every month on the 14th, you would pay that amount.
Okay.
You can always pay more and get it done faster. Do you want to come over and sign for this, or do you want us to email it to you?
Is this on North Temple?
Yeah, where you came before, where we took your picture and you came over on 3rd Street.
Yeah, I can come in today.
Okay, what time should we look for you?
Like maybe around 1.
Okay, we'll look for you around 1. And that will get you set up on the right path. Do you have any questions?
So is this like for everything, like my registration and the insurance? Okay.
Yes.
No, other than that, I don't think I have any questions.
Okay, all right, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diaz. Mr. Mattson, Mr. Rosenbaum. Let's start, Mr. Mattson. Heading to resolution, are we heading to trial?
We're kind of in a limbo state, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Rosenbaum and I have like a tentative agreement in place right now,
Okay,
but he has requested some time to speak with his wife and a
okay,
few other people before he makes a final decision.
yes,
So I told him that we would go ahead and just set final pretrial,
yes.
and he could reach out to me whenever he has done so, and we'll see what happens from there.
Okay, so Mr. Rosenbaum, right now we have the 5 cases that were pending. I'm going to tell you, oh, I'm sorry, it's 4. It's 4 cases. There's a, no, hold on just one moment. On that, just 1 second. There's a failing to prevent animal at large charge that is pending, but it has 0 on it. It's the top one on yours, 935. It says 426 right here, right there. That says 426. No, I said the top one on your screen. 9307. Well, that's really strange. This says 6047. Sorry. The top. Nope. Yeah.
The reason it could be that
The-
there was a change, all the documents were deleted in case the rule was changed, and I think it wiped out the balance of maybe at the time that was printed, because I manually entered in all the.
What's the balance is what I'm trying to find. 426. Okay, what's the total since my total is wrong?
17.
Okay, sorry, the court needed to get on the same page as everyone else. So, because I had some information that looked different than I think how it looks now. So what I will tell you is that all of those cases are scheduled now for a final pretrial date here in the courtroom, May 4th at 2:00. If they'll come to an agreement outside of court that is presented to me with both signatures, I'm probably going to sign off on it if it's legally something I'm allowed to sign. And that cancels those dates. Otherwise, we're all expecting to be in the court on May 4th. Okay?
Your Honor, for the no rabies tag citation, that one can be dismissed. Mr. Rosenbaum has provided proof of compliance to the court.
I'll have you send that. Does that comply with the prosecutor? Is that on a prosecutor motion that we currently have?
I don't think it's directly related to the standing memo, but I'll go ahead and just draft a motion myself.
Okay, well, that disposes of 1 of the 5. So that would be just fine. The rest will be scheduled. That one will be scheduled until we hear that, we get that dismissal. So if we get dismissals, Mr. Rosenbaum, well, we email them to you and cancel the date on that 1 case. But since there are 5, I still expect everybody to be in court May 4th, 2:00. Otherwise, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, everybody know what we're doing next?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, Mr. Rosenbaum, you had a question.
Yeah, I just, and I don't want to take undue time. What I'm struggling with is this pet is not, he's a 3.5 pound Pomeranian. I understand he's been getting out frequently. I do take accountability for that and responsibility. I think that what I'm having a hard time with is the animal control wants to levy maximum fine for remedial to comply. And I think have cited their feel that my wife hasn't taken this seriously. I can tell you that my wife's been crying for the last 4 days because our dog is not with us. So she's taking it very seriously. And, you know, entering into a deferral today also means me committing to paying $3,500 to get this, you know, our family pet back. That's what I'm struggling with. And I just wanted to basically let that be known that that's what I want to go discuss and see if there's potential any middle ground we can find here.
Mr. Mattson, what do you have to say?
I've explained to Mr. Rosenbaum the reasoning behind why Animal Services and my office feel that maxing out the fine on the failure to comply with remedial requirements is necessary in this case. Obviously, I do want to get his dog back to him as quickly as possible, but there has been a buildup of circumstances to this point, which is why we are in the discussion we are in.
Okay, quick question, because this is feeling more and more like an open plea with a plea on it, and we don't have that yet, but it sort of feels like the pleading is shifting, maybe the pleading ground is shifting. Are there, I don't know the answer to this question. It's a real question to you, Mr. Mattson. Are there further charges heading to the court at this time?
Yes, Your Honor, there should be 1 failure to comply with remedial requirement and 2 animal at large.
Okay, those were apparently, the clerk is messaging to me that those were dropped off this morning. That's a secondary charge. Let me just look at one more thing too. On the current charge though, what is the maximum fine available? Yeah. On the first one? Is there a complaint? Yeah. Let me just visualize it for a moment. Hold on, I'm digging a little bit to see. Are y'all contemplating in your deferral any type of obedience or classes? Or is that just not something that is going to be talked about this time?
That was not a discussion at this time, Your Honor, but that is certainly a possibility.
I don't really have an opinion about Noah and Noah's temperament. I'm saying the name now. So, and it doesn't sound like, okay, so the full range would be available there. You know, Mr. Rosenbaum, kind of what you're asking me to do at this point is, you know, if y'all reach an agreement, you reach an agreement. And agreements are two-way streets. Okay, both parties have to agree. If you come before me for sentencing, for me to sentence you, I have to get pleas that allow me to sentence. So here are your options right now. You can make some sort of agreement with Mr. Mattson, okay, and condition your plea on that agreement. You can change your plea and come in front of me as a judge of the court, and we would look at that. I would still need to look at the circumstances because there's more stuff coming in, new charges. You can schedule trial when we come in May, okay? Here's my thought, all right, to both of you. On the new charge, and that's actually a failure to comply with remedial requirements. There's another one of those coming in. And then what, rabies? 1 or 2? Just 1. Okay, so we got 2 new cases? You think?
I want to say yes.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know if part of y'all's discussion included dismissing those or not. I don't know, and y'all don't need to tell me right now. What I can tell you is you might think of this, Mr. Rosenbaum, in connection with the fact that the next charge I'm normally maxing that second one out. Me. Those come in, and when I see that there's been another one within a certain range of time, I start at the max on that second one. If y'all are agreeing to do something with the money on this first one and dismissing that second one, that would not be unusual. Now, it's not every time, and this is an evolving, ongoing situation, and I don't know all the details, okay? So I can't really weigh in on that and talk about that. But what I can say is this is not really the end of it unless y'all agree that it is. And the next one has the potential for more. And that's, I agree. I mean, at this point, maybe the city has your attention. Maybe we all look at that in the light of the whole picture. So that's about the best I can do to sort of help y'all get motivated, both parties, to come to a resolution. But this is ongoing and it's evolving. And I don't know all the details, but I can tell you that it would not be uncommon for me on that next one to have this one plus the next one being maxed out. That would not be unusual. So y'all talk about it. I'm going to plan to see everybody May 5th, unless something else happens and triggers a different direction for all of this. And Mr. Rosenbaum, I understand. I have a dog. I totally understand. So I do know that it's a lot to think about, and like it's very pressurized right now for you and your family. But that said, this is a lot of cases, and it's not, and it's a lot of cases quickly. And I'm glad actually that Noah isn't getting out and being subject to being injured and hurt. So maybe we can get a resolution that really addresses that and continues to keep command on the issue, is what deferreds are about. That's what deferreds are. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just to clarify, is it May 4th or May 5th?
May 4th should be a pre-trial date. May 5th is a 30-day. Yeah, that's May 4th is a final pre-trial date.
Okay.
Yeah, at 2.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Hopefully we just get resolved before then. I hope. All right, Mr. Rosenbaum, further questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mattson, I'm going to move you forward. I know that was a lot of cases with a lot of sort of extra stuff happening. Your next person is Marjorie Bates.
Okay.
And so, Ms. Bates, there you are. I'm going to move you on over to that meeting. We'll see you at the end. Come on back this way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And I am moving forward as well, talking to Emma Winkler. And Ms. Winkler, I did receive everything that you gave me. I just had a couple of questions. And good morning. Are you Dad?
Yes.
Hi, what's your name, sir?
Justin Winkler.
Thank you. And so what I'll tell you, Ms. Winkler, just a couple of things. And you had entered a plea of guilty. It's a speeding charge, 56 in a 45. If you paid it at the window, it would be 254. You've requested teen court, and I just want to check and see. You are at Belton, and you are a junior, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And with teen court at this time, there's a $20 fee for teen court, and that's usually a cash payment. And can you pay that fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there's a driving safety course that you would get completed online or around town as you choose, completed and turned in by the 5th of May. And if you get that done, then your case would be dismissed.
Okay.
Okay. And so does that sound like something you would be committed to doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then I just need y'all to come in and make the payment and then sign all your paperwork. We will give you some information about how to find a class, and you get your class done and turned in by May 5th. We dismiss it and we waive the balance.
Okay.
Okay. The purpose of teen court in this setting is, just to address speed issues that you're having. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, your next step is you're coming over. We'll have everything at the front window.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then I'm moving forward and talking to Jesse Torres. Mr. Torres, are you still here? Can you get on screen and unmute your computer or your smart device or what have you? Mr. Torres? Okay, well, I'll come back to him, but moving right along, I'm going to move on. And Mr. Camacho, you've been waiting patiently, and I did review everything that you sent me. Thank you. And I had some old cases with you that I had given time credit on, and the remaining balances on those cases are holds on the license. And so what I'm going to do today is waive those fees. I reviewed your income information and I'm going to waive those. Thank you. In fact, I'm signing that. She anticipated me and got it ready for me. So I'm signing that right now. Okay. That's going to trigger a release of your license. Okay. And what we'll do at that point now, so now I see we have a new charge, right, of license invalid, and also a new charge on a stop sign charge. And I think, let me double check on the new ones. Is he on time on the new ones? I'm looking for some options, maximum options for you. So just hang on a moment, okay? It'll only be a minute. I think Mr. Stapler had court elsewhere. That might be what happened. Mr. Stapler, thank you for coming in. I assumed you had court elsewhere. I think I might have even gotten notice of that. So you're waiting for your turn, okay? Mr. Camacho, I'm just looking for some good options to see if we have them. Yeah, we do. So, and also let me just look about the memo. Those are old cases. He has not had new cases. That's what I'm looking for too. And I don't think he has. So I'm sorry, you're muted. Let me ask you to unmute, Mr. Camacho.
There you go. I wouldn't have had the new case, but when I was driving, I thought that actually all that stuff was taken care of. I was on probation for the DWLI. And then during the probation, I paid out fines and everything. And I thought that included also the fines for the DPS. So when I got done with probation, I just assumed that I had a free cleared license. Well, I didn't find out until I got pulled over, and I literally was driving for 2 years, during that time, never got pulled over. And then when I did get pulled over, the officer, he informed me then that, yeah, okay, you do have this problem. I went down to DPS and they told me that I had the hold from I believe from your office. And then I have another hold from, an accident that I did. I had to have an SR22, but I thought all that was taken care of, which I have a meeting with him next week to see if I can get him to withdraw that as well. That way I get my license cleared back up.
Okay, when you say him, is that the accident?
Yes, it was. I hit a light pole at Garden Shelton, and my insurance I thought took care of it, but for some reason they didn't take care of it. I thought they did, so that's why I'm going over there to have a meeting with him.
Okay, so yeah, you have a number of moving parts. Okay.
Yes.
So here's the deal. I normally say, look, you're on time to court. Okay. And it is not an uncommon assumption that you made. Unfortunately, it's not an accurate one either, but you're not the first person I've ever seen to think that when they took care of something over here, it dealt with these other things. Okay. Mm-hmm. And now you learn that that's not actually what happened. So education curve, want to reward it, you're staying on time. So here's what I would say. If you want to delay your case and try to get all these other things resolved and get time for the clearance letter that I'm sending today, then let's hit a hard delay till June 7th. Don't get any more tickets. Come back here, and you might even have driver safety as an option to do a dismissal on the stop sign charge. And on the other charge, there is potentially a dismissal option that I can entertain at that time if you have resolved your suspension issues, not gotten any more tickets. Okay.
Yes,
So I can have you come in, or I can email you an extension. I just need a signature, and I'm just looking where you're located. Can you safely and lawfully get to the court to make signature?
Yes, ma'am. I'll have my brother take me.
Okay. And then do you feel like you're going to need an occupational license, or do you feel like you're just getting these holds taken care of?
Let me play it out by the end of the week, because if I can do all that, then I can go get my license through
Right.
DPS. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So here what I would say, and a couple things for you to know. If you wind up needing occupational license information, write me a note and we'll get it to you, because it's a lot of paper, and I'm spending tax dollars on that paper. So I do that for people who really need it. Okay. If you don't need it, we're not going to give it to you today. So I don't just hand those out like candy. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you need it, don't wait till June.
No, I'll be in this weekend if this other part don't work out. So, because I work by driving. So, I mean, I have to. I mean, it's either no work or no, yeah.
Okay. So you can always come and see if we can give you that information. You're coming in to sign today. I'm giving you a 60-day delay so that you can get your license. If you get it earlier, you can come on in and see if you can get squeezed in earlier. But here's the other thing. I also have determined that right now you don't have an ability to pay. And so if it comes to a sentencing option right now, you're qualified potentially for community service as well. So
Yes, ma'am.
I would want to talk to you if we're doing that. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Come on by the court, sign that extension. We'll see you in June.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And Mr. Mattson, let's see. I know that you were talking with Marjorie Bates. And do we have a resolution there, or are we moving forward toward trial?
We have a resolution, Your Honor. Ms. Bates has informed me that she was not even in Texas at the time of the citation. And so I told her if she can provide a copy of her lease agreement and a photograph of her license plate at the time of the citation that shows it does not match with the license plate number on the citation itself, her ticket would be dismissed.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say, Ms. Bates, and you're still on mute, which is fine. But June 4th at 1 o'clock is our next court date here in the courtroom. We avoid that if we have a dismissal. I don't really get involved in that agreement that you have with Mr. Mattson until he presents a dismissal to me. And if he does, then I will sign it. So if you call the day before and see that May 4th, excuse me, at 1 is still on, then you're going to need to be in the courtroom. So the sooner you can trigger that dismissal with him, the better, because you're way out of state. So I know you would have to make plans.
Yes.
So you might want to jump on that quickly.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bates. You're good to go. Mr.
Thank you.
Mattson. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Mattson, Mr. Ming is your next person. And Mr. Ming, are you still on 2 devices? It looks like it. So I'll send both of those devices over to the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Just the computer is the only one I have the audio on. So the one that says John Ming will be the device that, if you'll send that one over. I'm actually trying to conduct some business, so please forgive me. I'm out of state right now, and I've got a young man that's working for me, so I apologize.
Okay. Are you ready to do your pre-trial?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sending that over.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Let me know if I need to send that iPhone over. I'm just kind of leaving it.
Okay, will do.
All right. Let's see. Mr. Torres, can you unmute and get on screen, please? Mr. Torres, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Can you, I don't know what is going on with your equipment. Okay, there we go. So there was a driving under the influence of for a minor, and there was an accident. I do have a plea that has been entered of no contest. And I do need to tell you that if this is a first offense, the consequences under the law right now are a $281 fine. Also, upon conviction, there is a 30-day suspension of your license, beginning 10 days from presumably today. Also, under state law, 12 to 20 hours of alcohol-related community service, an alcohol intervention class plus alcohol-related community service. Do you understand those consequences?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will accept your plea of no contest. My next question for you in this sentencing event, we're sentencing now. So my next question for you is, have you been convicted? I mean, it's not going to help you if you don't tell me, because if we do what we do, the state will kick it back if it's not correct. So go ahead and tell me truthfully, have you had any other driving alcohol-related offenses in Texas?
No, ma'am.
Okay, the next thing I want you to tell me is, what has happened here? What happened and what is happening here with this charge?
So the day that happened, I had left my grandma's house, and I had a couple of drinks. I had 4 Trulies, I believe, and on the way home, it's about a 10-minute drive from my grandma's house to my house. So not even a block down the road from my house, I kind of stepped on the gas of my truck and lost control because the roads were a little bit wet. And I didn't realize that the roads were wet. So whenever I stomped it, I lost control of the wheel and ended up hitting a fence. So from when I hit the fence, I got scared because I never had anything happen like that. So, I was, like I said, I was down a block down the road from my house. So I reversed out and I just left down the road to my house and woke my parents up and told them what happened. And from there, the house that I hit, the person, he knew where I lived at because I've been living here for almost 15 years. So the guy recognized the sound of my truck, and he followed where I lived, and he came and he had asked me, he was like, "You should have stayed at the scene." I'm like, "Yeah, I understand. I got scared." So me and my parents ended up going back to the house that I hit, and the cops were there already. And I apologized to the guy, and I went to the cops, and they did a sobriety test, and I passed everything.
Okay, yeah, you can pass it without, that doesn't mean you aren't under the influence.
Right.
Okay. My next question is, what about that neighbor's property damage?
Well, it wasn't too bad. The guy, he didn't press charges. All I damaged was about probably 6 feet of his fence, but he already replaced everything. And I kind of hit the side of his home, but nothing major. That's about it. Luckily, it wasn't nothing bad.
You didn't pay for the damages?
Mm-mm. He didn't press charges on it.
Okay. All right. So what are you asking you've been here since we started court, right?
Right.
You know your options, right?
Well, I wanted to see if there's any chance I could get a hardship license. I'm not sure I believe that's what they call it. So I can go to work without having any problems with the police if I ever get stopped.
Okay. So I don't do hardship licenses. DPS would do them, but that's for minors who don't have a license capacity yet. They're not designated allowed to get one yet. You're probably talking about an occupational license, which you get from a JP court. However, here's my question. Is your license still suspended from the stop?
I don't even know, to be honest. They just took my license and they didn't really explain much.
So what you would have to do is go onto the DPS website and get the information there about whether your license is currently suspended. Do you know your license number?
I might have a picture.
That would be helpful for you to have because, you know, to look things up.
Yeah.
Also, when you come by the court to sign paperwork today, you can ask, do we have a copy of the CL? You can ask also for a copy of your ticket, and your license number will be on your ticket. Also, I'm looking to see if we have an image of your license. We might. You can't use it to drive, but you can use it to get on the DPS website and look things up. You would have received a license suspension just for being under the influence. An alcohol and a moving vehicle combination is going to generate a hit. However, and it may not be done yet because it's only been a month. And I think a month is about right. I think it's 45 days. It might be 30, kind of depends on circumstances. So you may be getting to the end of that, okay? At that time, once that suspension is over, there may be fees that you need to pay to DPS to reinstate your license. And that's another reason why you need to be able to look it up. And you'll be needing to dig on their website about what to do to get your license back when it has been suspended pursuant to a driving alcohol related offense, okay? I can't give you legal advice, but that's where you go look, okay? And see at least what is happening and any options that you might have. Now, as far as this court is concerned, I am interpreting your request for the hardship license as a request for a deferred disposition. I will grant that deferred request. That deferred, though, is going to run until October 6th. That means no charges, no tickets, no nothing, okay? If you are driving, you need to be lawfully driving. So figure out how to get your license back because I'm going to want to see it within 60 days, which is due June 6th. I'm sorry, June 7th. So a copy of your new license to the clerk's desk, valid by June 7th, okay?
Okay.
The next thing is also an alcohol-related class, plus the minimum of 12 hours of alcohol-related community service, which you can do in the form of the class. And so what that's going to look like is really a 20-hour class. And you turn that in by your due date. That will also be due June 7th. Okay. And you'll pay for that class at your own expense. And then finally, the other term and condition is to pay the $281. How long do you need to pay half of that? Can you pay any of that today?
Yeah, I could pay some today.
Okay, well, half of it would be 141. Can you pay that today?
I'll pay.
You can pay the 281?
Yes.
Okay, well, that actually will narrow down your to-do list a bit. So that's going to be today. All right, so it's a 60-day deferred that I am granting. It ends October 6th. Payment on the fines and costs will be today. Your license by June 7th, your alcohol class and hours of community service to total 20 hours of class time online due June 7th. We will give you alcohol class related information when you come in to sign your paperwork. Okay. And I need you to do that today. So are you coming in this morning or this afternoon?
I could probably come right now.
Okay, we should be pretty close to being able to have all that ready for you when you get here. Just make sure that you're lawfully driving and you're not getting stopped between now and then. Here's the benefit of the deferral that we're doing. If you're on a deferral, I'm not triggering an additional suspension of your license. If you successfully complete it, I won't have to.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense?
Yes, ma'am.
The current suspension that you may have received, I can't change that. But looking forward, a conviction is what triggers the next suspension. If you do your deferred, get your class turned in on time, get your license turned in on time for me to see, then I dismiss it and we don't trigger another suspension.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that we're clear, you're coming in the next half hour or so, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Torres.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. And then Mr. Stapler, you'll be next. I didn't get Kimberly Black here, but I have enough information to go ahead and order community service. So,
I'm sorry?
oh, I'm just talking to a clerk right now.
Okay, sorry.
Not really something that you need to know about what I'm doing on a different case, but I'm ordering community service on that case in case you were wondering. I don't really know why we wouldn't have an image of her or a license, but there's no image. Okay, so then moving forward. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Stapler. Actually, Teresa Gomez is going to be next, and then you, because she was here earlier first. Mr. Ming, Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to discharge? Are we heading to resolution or heading to trial?
We're heading towards resolution, Your Honor. I told Mr. Ming he actually does not own the property in question anymore. And so I told him if he can just submit a bill of sale for that property to the court. Once that has been received, I'll go ahead and dismiss his citation.
Okay. I will make a note in the file, but of course I'll need to get that dismissal from you. So if we receive it and you don't, make sure Mr. Matt has to look for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, I'm going to see everybody May 4th, but it sounds like that'll get canceled with that dismissal.
That is right, Your Honor.
Okay, you're good to go. Ms. Gomez, can you get on screen and unmute? Ms. Gomez, are you there? So this happens that people will log in and then just get sidetracked and forget all about it. Ms. Gomez, that may or may not be the case, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and disconnect you in hopes that then you will notice. Or if you're having technology problems, maybe reconnecting will resolve them. I'm going to encourage you to log back into the meeting so that we can proceed with your case and you are not counted as having not appeared in court. But I am removing you at this time because sitting in a meeting and refusing to speak wouldn't be appearing, in my opinion. And if that's not you, or if you've just got a technology problem, you can call back in or you can log back in, depending on the device that you're using. But at this time, I'm disconnecting in hopes that we can establish a reconnection. Mr. Stapler, Mr. Matson, I'm moving Mr. Stapler into the pretrial room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. On Gomez, just curious if she's maybe submitted insurance. Is it in, was it in effect on February 16th? Okay, maybe. No, it's kind of hard.
Oh, I made it better, didn't it?
Oh, no.
Let me see what.
Oh, there's a note in the file. Someone called the insurance. It was reinstated at the date of the stop. Okay, so, and there was no accident, so I can go ahead and dismiss that charge. Hollis Lewis, I thought he was retired. It's always going to be some family member or friend of Hollis. Yeah, Cameron, that's where he lives. Let's see. Tucker, oh man, still Aaron Tucker. Oh, that's the one that I know. Let's just show. Salcedo. Sorry, trying to clear too many messages and emails and all of those things. Okay, gentlemen, if I could, and you can unmute. There you go. Didn't hear any of that, but it's okay. Where are we with this Mr. Tucker's case?
Right now, Your Honor, we're going to go ahead and start moving towards trial. Mr. Stapler did request discovery, so I'll be providing that to him. I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Okay. Will that happen at the next pretrial, at the live pretrial, or is that going to happen prior?
That will happen prior. I told him I'd try to get him the link to the discovery Dropbox by the end of today or the end of tomorrow.
Cool. That's great. I'm glad that's going to start working out. And thank you, Mr. Mattson, for getting that going well.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Stapler, we'll just see everybody May 4th for pretrial. That's a quick pretrial, 1 o'clock, probably 10, maybe 15 minutes of your time. And by then you should have had ample time to look at the discovery. But if not, we can troubleshoot it. We'll set bond and set trial. I'll see everybody there.
All right. Judge.
We're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, we're still live. Just a quick question. Retired lawyer, I thought, Hollis Lewis has taken a case on Jose Puerto Salcido. I don't know if you have visited. It's another assault by contact. And in fact, I was pulling it up when y'all came back. Let me just get it on the screen. My main question really of you right now is if you've heard from that attorney, because I will tell you, I'm not completely clear that he has the technology to do things the way we're doing it right now. Have you heard from him at all?
Yes. So my understanding is that, let me see. I think he already we entered a deferral. He had called my office on like my first day. And so we entered a deferral. And I believe he already sent a money order for the full fine amount and the signed paperwork. And I told him that I would use the email. He sent me like a picture of it. And I said I would use that as a placeholder until I was able to get down and sign the physical copy.
Okay. I'm just looking, I'm trying to make sure that we don't have something that is family violence. And let me just look at that. I do see that that's in my inbox to look at today. It came in, everything came back to us on the 1st, which was Friday. And let me look at the complaint real quickly. It says no relationship.
My understanding is that there was no family violence, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. So that ought to clear easily without, the complaint is quite something. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I'll approve that deferral. Okay, good. I was making sure I didn't have an attorney not showing up. That's not a fun process. When it happens, I don't enjoy it, but I will do what I need to do.
Yes, ma'am.
So it looks like then, let me get you back where I can see you. I'm not seeing you. Hold on, it's not your fault. It has a funny thing to do with the way LT interacts with Zoom. It's just not intuitive. Okay, so great. So we'll clear that one. And that means that, there was one lady and she came on and it turns out, and she was having technology problems, but she had submitted insurance that covered the date of the stop. And that was going to be Gomez, and that's been dismissed. But there were 2 other ones, and they're going to head to warrant. So yeah, I think Stacy Swan and Andrew Lopez. So that clears your docket. Thank you for a good day. I don't know what happened this morning. You don't need to tell me, but I thought we were meeting before court began, and
we were supposed to, Your Honor.
Well, and I got word from Nan that you had a difficult morning, and that's fine. I'm sorry, whatever happened, but that's why you saw me I was going to give you very general information about deferred authority, especially with cases coming in and options that are normally agreeable to me without looking at specific cases. And that's really all I was going to talk to you about. So I kind of did that out in the open, which is actually better So, and I think I did that without embarrassing either party or upsetting anyone or making it look like I'm tilting my hat one direction or the other, because I really am not. So I think it was fine. If you have concerns or issues or ideas there, certainly willing to meet separately from court and discuss generally how we proceed. No problem. But I was actually worried that you'd maybe been in a car accident or something had happened. So I was really relieved that you were okay. So, all right.
All good here, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Just letting you kind of know how I proceeded, why I did it the way I did it.